Antra, for those people who don't know who you are, would you mind introducing yourself and letting them know what it is you do?
Sure. My name is Antra Mohan, and I am a property and casualty insurance specialist with about 20 years of experience focused on running insurance operations, managing complex projects to drive transformation using artificial intelligence, RPA, and digital solutions. I currently work with a company called Larsen and Toubro Infotech, also called as LTI, where I'm a part of their insurance strategy and advisory group, responsible for growing sales, for responsible for growing sales, distribution, and content practice, aka experience solutions for all of the insurance encompassing CRM solutions or customer relationship platforms, content services platforms, UI, UX, and digital experience platforms. I am based in New Jersey, in US.
What excited you about the insurance space?
Well, I think more than insurance, what is exciting for me is to work on solutions that solve for a customer problems and study and analyze the customer behavior. That almost always leads to generation of ideas, investing in innovations regardless of the industry. Now, insurance is slightly unique in industry, especially in the past 1.5 years. We've seen the companies across the globe moving to a partially or a fully distributed model, emphasizing more on digitalization. Hence, there's a lot to do, considering that we still work on legacy platforms, siloed and paper-based processes.
What is the difference between automation and digital transformation in the insurance space?
Digital transformation involves a whole lot of disruption that involves assessing the culture, the landscape, the technical maturity, and the appetite to invest. Hence, digital transformation to a great extent depends on the carrier or the insurer's capacity to or the capability to implement these initiatives. Now, automation, on the other hand, can be taken as an initiative that is independent of the technical maturity, and it can still kind of provide the same kind of experience and benefits on cost without being too intrusive in nature. So from an SI or a vendor perspective, I have less control on successful digital transformation implementations and more control on automation initiatives due to level of change and readiness that is required to carry out these initiatives in the client organizations.
Why are insurers digitally transforming? Why are they automating? What's the business imperative?
People are moving more towards digitalization of the processes and also the functions. Reason being that we've moved to a more distributed model, meaning that people are working from different places. People are working from homes. They are probably not in their buildings where traditionally these functions and processes were being performed, which means that the functions need to also be capable of being performed anywhere and anytime with the same level of security, and also keeping in mind the data privacy for the customer is not compromised, and where they want to invest in order to scale and also give the access to those processes, functions to be more location independent. And besides that, also how they can still help in servicing their customers while these all digitally enabled with more self-serve options, but how they can still make these interactions humanized.
Why do organizations choose system integrators? Why do they not just do all this themselves? What's the advantages?
The benefit of partnering with a service provider or system integrators is that they bring in vast ecosystem of product expertise, partnerships, resources, tools, and accelerators. And I think most importantly, the cross-industry experience because of their continual investments in upskilling their practices and innovations in new solutions through constant ideations. This, I think, in turn helps the client organization to identify, evaluate, and select initiatives that will bring them maximum returns. A system integrator or a service provider can, depending again on the level of relationship with the software vendors, can offer specific advisory services and bring in the SIVs for design thinking or requirements gathering sessions. And now, needless to say that this can help the firm create a realistic roadmap for transformation. Now, an experienced SI will most certainly have a well-established center of excellence that kind of benefits the client organization with ongoing digital strategies, governance, and collaboration of best practices. These often being key foundations to any transformation journey to accelerate the scalable and flexible transformation initiatives.
What about the service provider picking the right professional firm? What or how best should firms actually use system integrators? Is that keep them at arm's length and give them responsibility and accountability for delivering solutions? Is that absolutely integrating them into the organization and embedding them in the culture? Or is there a mixture somewhere in between the two that's most effective?
Great question again. And I think in today's world, it works best if both the client organization and the system integrators are deeply integrated to align and understand the end state of the transformation journey and define a roadmap. It's a collaborative journey, and keeping an arm's length, in my opinion, with the NSI partner may not be an optimal approach.
In your experience, Antra, looking around these various industries, what are the key things that insurance companies could bring from different markets that would really allow them to transform their service?
Right. So definitely, I think with everyone moving remote and also catering to different groups, it's absolutely important to ensure that the processes within insurance are more intuitive and more customer friendly. Insurance is not a product that people would happily buy. It's not an Amazon product, or it's not a car that they buy and they can enjoy it, right? So it's more of a pushed product. So the experience of onboarding a new client or a customer should be simple, less I would say should have minimal effort and more intuitive. Someone who can, even if I'm shopping for or looking at different quotes from different carriers as a customer, I should have an option to fulfill the transaction right there and then. So I think making it easier on the customer front or the agent and broker front, that is definitely some of the shifts that we are noticing are gaining more and more popularity. The pandemic has forced the carriers and us to kind of think of new ways of engaging with the customer. So that's definitely one of the biggest trends. And again, as I said, some of the peripheral solutions to enable those trends has kind of gained visibility as well.
And that's exciting bit, isn't it, in our industry, that there's always usually a technology solution that provides just a variety of options. But Anthony, you and I could talk all night about insurance because both of us are excited about it. But if people want to find out that little bit more about you or how you could connect or help them transform their organization or their insurance business or any business that needs a technology solution, how would they go about contacting you?
Well, I am on LinkedIn, and I think that's the best way to reach me is on LinkedIn. I love to network. So yeah, I mean, contact me on LinkedIn.